Welcome to This Week in Black Media for May 22nd, 2019. And I'm going to come out the gate and announce that we'll be taking a hiatus from this weekly presentation due to the arrangements that are taking place so I can do the presentation on August 20th and 21st of the Found Tribes of Israel, which is the priority as far as the Ancestral Productions channel is concerned, and also This Week in Black Media. I've enjoyed doing it. I intend to come back to it. But for time reasons, and also because of the quality of the presentation I want to do for the Found Tribes of Israel, I can't split my attention in that fashion anymore until that's complete, and I really don't know how long it will take us. I know that when we did the Hebrew letters, that lasted about 3 months, and I'm assuming this will take longer, but we'll have a nice surprise at the end of the process. And for those of you that have been here for a while, the channel's been up for a few years now. I have never said like or subscribe. I can assure you I'm going to be doing that in August 20th, as of August 20th and August 21st, because I want to get the data out there. So if you have members of the church, the black church, educators of African history, etc., I certainly encourage you to ask them to pay a visit come August 20th and 21st. That's another important reference to make also, is that the presentations for the Found Tribes of Israel on olodomari.info will be done professionally, in the sense that I won't be cussing anybody out, or my occasional outbursts, etc. I'm gonna chill all that, because it's important to communicate the data to the widest audience possible. And as I've said before, for educators in particular, we're going to have all the references. I'll have a book list of texts that are worth getting, but I'm also going to be citing from those. And according to those specific texts, I will have the precise page numbers, the paragraph, all of that. And we're going to walk through this. We're going to show why black people are in the Bible, and why it's our heritage that is being talked about, as much as our Ashkenazi Jewish cousins, who many of them have tried to appropriate the tradition to themselves as if they're an exclusive entity. And of course, I'm not talking about those of the Jewish community that don't look at it that way. But my analysis shows it's clearly these are African traditions, particularly the traditions of El, etc. And we'll get into that when we go there. So for prior to this hiatus, though, I just want to point out what I saw, what inspired me to do this Week in Black Media to begin with, was because I had the intuition that black media producers were going to start generating content on the same subjects at the same time, which I've said before, that could be considered common sense. But if we look back even 5 years ago, the viral nature of the participation in the common popular narratives was not taking place to the degree that it is now, or with the speed that it is now, and I think that's important. I think it's a very positive thing. This brings us to look at how Biden got tore up this week. Just as an example, Yvette Carnell went in on him. Professor Black Truth went in on him through Simone Sanders. Vicky Dillard went in on Biden. Phil at Advise Show went in on Biden. Antonio Moore last week went in on Biden. You see that this is a very positive it's a very positive occurrence, and I certainly see more potential than I have ever in my history of looking at black media. So as I've said before, we'll come back to that. Occasionally I might even add a segment like that on the end of our weekly presentation for the Found Tribes of Israel. So yeah, rather than detail these, I just say to just look at how the same topics are being brought up, and more importantly, they're brought up by people that are experts in their fields. And the potential for this to spread in the popular aspect of community also is very important. I think when our musicians start to tune in more, and I think that's probably inevitable, but I think that's the greatest communication platform that we have as African people, and we know that just from the history of our use of music to begin with. I've written about that for years. I've discussed that for years, and I think the merger, so to speak, is inevitable, particularly about the reparations movement. Now, obviously, our music industry is controlled by people that would not want black people talking about reparations, but with the open competition, the open markets, the way they exist now, with independent music producers, we're going to see more independence and more political consciousness, I believe. I mean, even if we look at Montana of 300, who I like very much, he's a rapper out of Chicago. You know, he does the drill music, and there's gangster music there. But if you filter him closely, he's very conscious socially, and he makes several political comments that shows that he's more than just part of popular culture. He's aware, and that we know what Chicago's like, you see, and for him to still take the time to make those references, like I said, I see something positive in that. So shout out to him for that. I peeped him. The things that he said subtly within his lyrics on multiple occasions that he does that. So, and then not to be tangential there, but we have our voices are being heard now, much more than we ever have been before, and that scares people. And it is certainly a threat to the Eurocentric narrative, which is dissipating and can do nothing other than move over and allow other groups to assert themselves as equals. I think that's inevitable. As far as our community consciousness is concerned. So, I mean, it's all good. I mean, I'm very happy about it all. For all the negativity that's there, like I said, I think this is the best situation that we've been in politically or as a social unit in our history of being here. And I just see that growing. As much as the media has tried to manipulate to the other direction, and as much control as they've had before, I just don't see it having longevity. There's blood in the water, y'all. And the narrative of European racial supremacy is compromised. So it's about time, and I hope to see the reparations movement continue to grow also, because nobody has been mistreated to the degree that we have. Not in recorded history. It's shameful. It's shameful, and justice is due. So I'm by no means done discussing black media, but I'm going to concentrate on my specific lane here with this Found Tribes of Israel, and also the non-normal methods. It appears that I was able to come to some of the information. It will speak for itself. So, as I've said that for several years. Sooner or later, I'm gonna, it's gonna come now. Is it August 21st? We gonna weigh in heavy from go. We're gonna firmly ground the fractal traditions in Black Africa, and we're gonna show where other authors have not had the eyes to see, so to speak. So, yeah. Well, on that note, I'm enthused. to have this ready for August. And no, I just have the deep felt intuition to make room for what is going to manifest. So until next time, continue to watch and support Black media.